My name is Felicia Moore, and I am the president of Atlanta City Council and a candidate for mayor of Atlanta. Well, the mayor does have an aggressive One Atlanta housing plan, and there are many action items in that plan that have not been executed. So I will continue many of those tasks that are in that plan, but I will focus on the things that I believe are the easy, quick lifts that we can do. One, making sure that our Atlanta Housing Authority Board is up and running and getting the properties that are vacant so that we can have those that are at 50% of median income and lower, get them housed on those properties. Look at our city-owned properties, making sure that we put density there and build in affordability, working with our corporate partners to get that done. And those are two things. And then we have plenty of properties that can be rehabilitated and put back on the market that are in the Atlanta Fulton County Land Bank Authority. And so we're going to work on those things as well as looking at the money that we've already allocated for affordable housing and making sure it is being put to work. I am in support of it where it works. So what I'm not in support of is doing it blanket. That was the first proposal, that all single-family zoning districts in the city would be eliminated. That is short-sighted, as well as it's going to cause many complications. But I am for it where you have good community input and community buy-in, because there are some neighborhoods that do have some opportunities to increase density. We do need more density in the city of Atlanta because we're going to double our population. What we need to do first is to look at our major corridors where we can have better ingress and egress, because people are going to drive their cars and need to get around. Putting it in an interior of a neighborhood will be more difficult. So there are opportunities that we have, again, city-owned property and other properties that we own where we can build that density in without disrupting the character of a neighborhood. Peachtree and Pine, as everyone knows, is the no barrier shelter the city of Atlanta had. They could house up to 800 people in that facility. During the Reid administration, there was a proposal to close it. I was the only council member, and I was a council member at the time that voted no. And I said that I'm voting no, not because we don't maybe need to relocate it, but you've got to have a plan to replace those 800 beds, no barrier beds for people. That plan never materialized, and so it did not get my support. Now we are stuck with the fact that we don't have those no barrier shelters in the city. So it makes it more difficult for those who may have issues, mental issues, drug addiction, others to find a place of refuge when we have really cold weather or really hot weather. So what I'm going to do is make sure that we're working with Partners for Home and doing all we can to use the money that we have gotten from the federal government wisely to find places to house people, and also make the case to citizens, because it's all of us who want to see the unsheltered off of our streets, but we also have to be welcoming to have these facilities in our communities. Neighborhoods and city safety is the #1 issue on everyone's mind. It's no magic bullet, but I believe there are 5 key areas that I will be addressing: the cops, our courts, code enforcement, our children, and the community. On the issue of our cops, as you know, we're down. We do need to make sure that we are able to get more officers on the street, and I have a plan to get some of those officers from behind the desk and on the street supporting our police officers. They do a great job of arresting people, but that comes to the courts. And as mayor, I will use the pulpit of the mayor to work with our partners at Fulton County and help them with the programs that we have that can maybe help people from committing crimes again. And then I also want to make sure that we open up our jail facility, which is empty, and allow them to be able to humanely house people so that they don't feel that they have to let them out. Our code enforcement love our nightlife. That's what attracted me to a city of Atlanta, but we need to make sure that they're following the rules, not only for those that are following the rules, who are being impacted by those who are not. And so I'm going to be calling all of them in the first 30 days to a meeting and let them know that we will be enforcing the law. And then the other one is our children. We've got to lean into them, help and work a real partnership with public school systems so that when kids get out of school, they can go directly to a rec center, get a meal, get their homework, do some recreation, and then work with the school system to pick them up and take them home. We've got to close that window of vulnerability for our kids to be in gangs or bad activity. And then finally, it's all of us in the community getting our crime watches back up and running, because these perpetrators are not invisible. So we've got to work as well with our police department to make our neighborhoods safe. So as you know, I mentioned, I want to make sure that we have that partnership with public schools. But one thing that I've done as president of the City Council was more girls in STEM. I wanted to make sure that young girls, particularly in middle school age, that's that age where they're trying to figure out what's going on with life, to be able to expose them to something that they hadn't been exposed to before. And out of that, we have actually got some of the schools to start robotics teams. These girls, young girls, had never been exposed to some of these things because many kids don't even make it out of their neighborhood. And by that exposure point, you don't know if we have the next astronaut or the next engineer in the group. And so I want to continue that as well as some other activities, because the kids in our more vulnerable communities don't get outside of their community and they don't know all of the wealth of things that they can be or that they can do. And so at my office, we're going to find all those inflection points and all those opportunities, even within the city, to expose them to new ideas and activities and motivate them to live their best positive lives. Well, you know, the school system will have to do that, so I can certainly be a strong advocate for it. Art is an extremely important thing, and I want to make sure as we're looking at things, I always want to have lenses that we look through anything that we do. Equity is one of them, making sure arts is incorporated in it. If it's a development, making sure we're providing green space. If it's transportation, making sure we're having alternative things. So I will certainly be looking at that as a part of anything that we look at, to have art, industrial art. You know, one thing I love about Atlanta now is we've embraced a lot of murals around the city. And I believe that people are really getting and capturing the feel of art. Art can be very helpful in our space of public safety. You know, how people feel about their community and how they can connect is what art does. And so we're going to make sure that it's continue to be at the forefront of the city of Atlanta.